Well, Hazy, I'm super excited about this because Gluttony presents the Glenelg Winter Arts Festival. It is happening this Friday, and we're going to give you the chance to go along in just a moment. But we need to speak to this man first because he will be performing his show called Willuminate, and he joins us now. Will Anderson, good morning.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. I've been coming to Adelaide to perform stand-up comedy for 24 years, and I've never made it as far as Glenelg. Can you believe that? Never made it to Glenelg.
I can't believe that.
That's really, we're very famous for assuming that if it's more than 15 minutes, then it's a journey. But you've never gone as far as the city outside of, what's the furthest you got to?
I mean, about as far as I can walk in a radius. From the Garden of Unearthly Delights, and about as far as I can walk in a radius is as far as I've ever made it. So even when I was booking for this festival, just in my head, I was like, oh, well, I assume I'll just stay in the city still, and the gig will be out in Glenelg. And the organisers are like, oh, no, it's a whole different place. Oh. You've got to stay in Glenelg.
So at no point did you think I'm going to jump on that little tram there and take a trip out to Glenelg, out to the beach to see no waves?
I mean, here's the thing. I'll be staying in Glenelg, so maybe I could do the reverse trip. I could take the tram into the city and then back to Glenelg. I mean, that's a whole different world that we're living in now.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, you need to tick that box.
Hey, Will, you are a Victorian boy through and through. So obviously there's this little rivalry between South Australia and Victoria. Can you just be honest with us for a second? Your immediate thoughts when someone says, maybe you're sitting in a pub in Melbourne and a couple of your Melbourne mates say, hey, what are your thoughts when you perform at South Australia once a year? What are your immediate thoughts of our great state?
Well, no, the state I love. Now, here's the joke that it used to be. The joke used to be that you were just very economical, that people would come out, I always remember this with British comedians. They would come out to the Adelaide Fringe and they would be like, oh my God, this is the greatest place on earth. There's a fringe festival, there's a music festival, there's a motor race, there's a horse race. Everything is happening at the exact same time. This place is amazing. I assume it is like this for the other 11 months of the year. Yeah. And then they would stick around and be rudely surprised that it was mostly just being angry at cane corns for 3 months in the middle of the year, right? So,
you get all that anger out on Kano. And then around about March,
now
you feel
it's
good.
different now.
Yeah.
It's really different now, right? With all the festivals, but then it just continued. There was the big football festival, obviously, but then there's been, the Live Golf tournament, and now we've got this Winter Arts Festival. This is turning into I'm not sure that we can sustain this pace at Adelaide. That's what I'm saying. We might be going a bit too hard.
Yeah. And you don't need to talk to Hazy about the anger directed at Cane Corns because he used to work with him on the sports station SEN. So it was good for you because you never got any hate directed your way.
Well, yes, and also Kane taught me how to deal with hate. Maybe once or twice I'd get some stick on Twitter. I'd be like, I can't handle this, and he'd be like, look at my notifications, mate. I've got 300 new notifications. There's about 16 death threats in there as well, and I'm getting through.
Yeah. We've got 200 listeners and 300 death threats. This is a good percentage.
That's the thing.
Just not adding up.
Hey, well, speaking of footy, am I right in saying that you're a massive Western Bulldogs fan?
Yeah, that's true. I am a massive, massive Western Bulldogs fan. I used to say long suffering, but of course then 2016 happened. So now I'm quite content. Bulldogs fans aren't like Collingwood fans or Richmond fans or Adelaide Crows fans who expect sustained success.
Yes.
We're just happy we fluked it once. We're wrapped. We never thought it was going to happen. We are just like a guy who bought the minimum lottery ticket into the lottery and just fluked the right numbers one year when everybody else fell over.
Yeah.
We Stephen Bradbury'd it. We weren't the best team. We stole it in the finals like a Western Bulldogs fan going through cars in the car park at the Whitten Oval. Yeah. I know what happened and I'm happy.
Yeah, so it's the Bulldogs and then you nudge your mate, the West Coast Eagles in 2018 and be like, what about that time we stole that premiership?
Oh, mate, can I say the West Coast Eagles, by the way? What a football club where you can be the worst team in the competition by so far and you still get 50,000 people to every home game.
I know.
They still have 100,000 members.
Yeah.
100,000 members, and they're terrible. That's amazing.
But I think the thing about the Western Bulldogs is even if you don't barrack for them, everyone's got a little soft spot for the Bulldogs, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
I know why.
Why?
I'll tell you why, Joe. It's easy. You don't have any bad memories against the Bulldogs. That's the thing, right? The reason you hate a team, the only teams that really are angry at the Bulldogs are the Sydney Swans and maybe Melbourne a little. But
Yeah.
they beat us still, so they shouldn't even be that mad at us.
Yeah, and also, if you're a lady, and maybe if you're a man as well, like myself, you've seen Bailey Smith, and you're like, I think I like the Dogs.
Yeah.
Something about that young man.
Yeah, I mean, certainly something about him on Instagram, not much about him on the field at the moment.
Wow.
You went there.
Well, we can't wait to welcome you back, and also for you to experience Glenelg for the first time. My God, please put some pics up on your Instagram. Thank you very much.
I mean, I can't believe it, really, that I'm going to Glenelg for the very first time in my life. So if you're a person in Glenelg who's never made the big trip into the city to see my show, this is your chance.
Big opportunity.
And if you do want to go along, give us a call now, 13 24 10. You can win a double pass to go and see Willuminate. Thank you so much for having a chat with us. It is absolutely always a pleasure.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.